Yellowtail is a fish that is popular in many regions of the world and belongs to the family Carangidae. It is highly regarded and has a high market value. The formal name of this species is Seriola quinqueradiata. However, it is more generally referred to as yellowtail amberjack or Japanese amberjack. This is especially true in Japan. They are recognizable by their long, slender bodies and a yellow stripe that runs from the eye to the tail. This stripe is a prominent identifying trait and is also the reason why they are given the name yellowtail. Both the distribution and the habitat. Yellowtails are typically found in waters that are considered to be temperate, and they are particularly prevalent in the Western Pacific region, which includes Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. They are able to survive in seas with a high salt level and grow in coastal waters as well as deeper areas. Ecology and biological study. Yellowtails are known to consume meat. The majority of their diet consists of crabs, squid, and tiny fish. They have a rather rapid development rate, reaching a size of 40 to 80 centimeters when they are fully mature and weighing approximately 2 to 10 kilograms, but they have the potential to grow even larger if they are provided with proper living conditions. This is a fish that is not only robust and adaptable, but also simple to cultivate and grows rapidly in aquaculture. Food applications and economic value are both included. Yellowtail is the primary component of a wide variety of meals, including sushi, sashimi, and teriyaki, among others. It is simple to blend the yellowtail's naturally sweet flesh with a variety of processing techniques due to its fatty, aromatic, and naturally sweet structure. Yellowtail is one of the fish that is farmed the most in Japan, making it a significant contributor to the seafood sector in this country. Yellowtail is a member of the aquaculture industry, agriculture, as well as preservation. As a result of the robust demand from the market, yellowtail is currently being farmed extensively in order to guarantee an adequate supply for the market. Technology is being used in modern farming systems in Japan and other countries to maximize productivity and protect the environment. This is happening at the same time that modern farming systems are lessening the pressure that is being exerted on nature to exploit it. The industry of yellowtail fishing is one that is not only significant, but also extremely valuable, particularly in Japan and other East Asian countries. The exploitation of this type of fish makes use of both the natural environment and contemporary farming practices in order to achieve the desired results. Listed below are some common methods of fishing for yellowtail. Catching yellowtail in its natural habitat is primarily accomplished with the use of purse, seine, and longline. This technique is quite common, particularly during the spawning season when yellowtails congregate in big schools. Pin seine is a prominent way. In order to capture all of the fish that are contained within the net area, fishermen first use a purse seine to encircle the school of fish and then bring the net back. To catch each enormous fish, the longline technique employs a fishing line that is very long and has a number of hooks that are dropped down. It is common practice to employ this technique when fishing in deeper waters, which is where yellowtail tend to reside and mature. When it comes to fish farming in Japan, the yellowtail was one of the first species to be cultivated on a considerable basis. The presence of yellowtail farms ensures a consistent supply and alleviates the strain placed on wild capture fisheries. These are sea cage ponds. They are raised in cages that are situated in open oceans or coastal waters that have conditions that are favorable for their growth. These enclosures are meant to provide the fish with the opportunity to swim freely, thereby imitating the natural habitat. This allows the fish to develop normally and provide flesh of superior quality. Care and parenting procedure. Yellowtail fingerlings are fed meals that are extremely high in nutrients, such as small fish and processed industrial diets when they are young. Additionally, water management systems and environmental control are utilized in contemporary farming practices in order to guarantee the fish's well-being. In order to safeguard this aquatic resource and guarantee the long-term viability of the environment, the exploitation of yellowtail is subject to stringent control. There are constraints on seasonal exploitation. Over the course of the mating season, there are some instances in which exploitation is prohibited in order to safeguard the source of fingerlings. Regulate the size. Through the implementation of this regulation, It is ensured that only fish of sufficient size are captured, so enabling the fish to breed and preserve their natural population. In aquaculture environments, cage control is essential. The use of cage control helps to reduce negative effects on the environment and maintains water quality. There are difficulties. There are a number of issues that the yellowtail fishing and aquaculture sector must contend with, including growing market demand, climate change, and pollution in the maritime environment. In addition to the many techniques used for fishing, the yellowtail fishing and aquaculture business is also influenced by a number of other significant technological variables. Sustainability and conservation are two important concepts. At the moment, technology is playing a significant part in the process of enhancing the effectiveness and long-term viability of aquaculture and yellowtail fishing. There are a number of noteworthy technologies, including there are systems for remote monitoring and control. Yellowtail farms in the modern era frequently have remote monitoring systems installed in order to keep an eye on the water's quality, oxygen levels, salinity, and temperature. All play a role. This gives farmers the ability to swiftly modify environmental conditions in accordance with their needs. It is a biosensor technique. Because of the use of these sensors, it is possible to identify changes in the health status of fish more quickly, in particular, symptoms of diseases that are frequent. By doing so, the possibility of disease spreading within cages is reduced effectively. Applying for a drone. Certain locations make use of drones for the purpose of monitoring big maritime regions, helping to discover and precisely estimate the location of yellowtail schools. The process of exploitation is optimized, while simultaneously reducing costs. A high market value is associated with yellowtail fish. Therefore, it is essential to follow correct preservation and shipping procedures in order to keep the quality of fish meat intact. IQF technology is being used. It is common practice to promptly freeze yellowtail fish after they have been caught in order to preserve their freshness. It is important to prevent the formation of bacteria and to make certain that the fish meat maintains its natural sweetness till it is consumed by consumers. Cold storage systems are available for the purpose of preventing spoilage and ensuring that the product is of high quality. Yellowtail must be transported using specialized cold storage that adheres to stringent temperature control methods. Storage space on board. The majority of large yellowtail fishing vessels are outfitted with onboard cold storage, which allows for the quick freezing of fish after it has been caught. While the fish are being transported back to shore, this helps to ensure that they remain as fresh as possible. In regard to the growing demand in the market, when it comes to conserving maritime habitats and yellowtail resources, sustainable development is absolutely essential. Organic farming practices. A great number of yellowtail farms are using waste reduction strategies in order to lessen their impact on the environment. For example, reducing the use of chemicals and utilizing organic feed. Practices of farming that are closed-loop. Closed-loop models are being considered for use in some research in an effort to lessen the negative influence on the marine environment. The utilization of water that has been recirculated and the treatment of wastewater prior to its release into the environment are both included. Resource management and fishing licenses are also important. In order to ensure that yellowtail populations in the wild remain stable, the governments of nations such as Japan and South Korea are enhancing their management and monitoring of the number of fishing vessels and the volume of catch, mostly due to the fact that yellowtail is valuable. The fishing and aquaculture industries of this fish are confronted with a great deal of difficulty. This includes the changing climate. Alterations in the temperature of the ocean can have an impact on the habitats and breeding grounds of yellowtail, lowering the number of wild catches. Competition on a global scale. Technologies for yellowtail cultivation and fishing are receiving an increasing amount of investment from countries, making the global market more competitive by creating robust competition. The influence of conservation. There is a growing demand among environmentalists and international groups for more stringent supervision of wild fishing techniques. To ensure the preservation of this resource, the sector should be required to implement sustainable fishing practices. Because of technological advancements and stringent management practices, in order to satisfy the ever-increasing demand of the global market, the yellowtail fishing sector is making steady progress toward a more sustainable route of development. Not only is yellowtail fish well liked in Japan, but it is also well liked in a great number of other nations due to the fact that it has a distinguishable flavor and a high nutritional value. There is a wide variety of ways in which yellowtail fish can be utilized in culinary preparations. Japanese cuisine served. When it comes to sushi and sashimi, yellowtail fish is the primary ingredient used in Japanese cuisine. It is higher in fat than fish meat, gentle and scrumptious, perfect for consuming raw food. Yellowtail is also processed into foods that are grilled with teriyaki or salt, and these dishes are also processed. The sweetness of the fish and the saltiness of the soy sauce are brought together in a way that is harmonious. The cuisine of Korea in general. Additionally, yellowtail is utilized in traditional Korean cuisines such as sashimi, hwareho, or fried and consumed with kimchi and raw veggies. Examples of these dishes include: one of the most well-liked dishes for drinking is this one, admired for the depth of flavor it possesses. Chefs from the West. In Western dining establishments, it is common practice to prepare yellowtail fillets by pan-frying, grilling, or deep-frying them. Utilized in conjunction with sweet and sour sauces or lemon butter sauce in order to emphasize the delectable flavor of the fish meat. There are a lot of nutrients that are good for your health that are found in yellowtail. Fatty acids called omega-3. Omega-3 fatty acids, which are abundant in yellowtail fish, have been shown to lower cholesterol levels and protect the heart. Extremely high in protein. Due to the fact that it contains a substantial amount of protein, yellowtail meat is an excellent option for constructing muscle and regaining health. Minerals and vitamins are used. There is also a significant amount of vitamin B12 in yellowtail fish. The immune system is strengthened by vitamin D, calcium, and iron, which also contribute to the maintenance of healthy bones and teeth that are strong. It is anticipated that the yellowtail fishing and farming business would experience significant growth in the years to come. It is because of the growing demand and the trends in the consumption of nutritious foods. The following are some paths that the industry might go in the future. Increasing the level of international engagement. When it comes to developing sustainable fishing enterprises, countries that have abundant yellowtail resources are trying to collaborate with one another, while simultaneously enhancing agricultural technologies, enhancing supply chains, and raising the value of our products. A chance to enter new markets. The United States of America, Europe, and Australia are among the markets that are showing a growing interest in imported seafood items of a high grade. In these markets, yellowtail has a significant amount of opportunity for expansion, particularly in light of the growing demand for fish that is both clean and healthy. Both breeding and biotechnology are being explored. Researchers in the field of science are looking into ways to develop yellowtail fish that have improved resilience to sickness and higher growth rates. The demand for yellowtail aquaculture might be satisfied with this prospective solution, which would also lessen the amount of pressure placed on natural resources. The marine resources are being significantly impacted by the effects of climate change. Yellowtail is not an exception to this rule. Yellowtail is experiencing a change in its environment as a result of three factors: rising sea temperatures, ocean acidification, and habitat change, causing them to move further away from the edge of the coast. Increasing the difficulty of catching it. Threats to the disease. The likelihood of disease outbreaks occurring in aquaculture cages is increased as a result of climate change. The aquaculture business should be required to make further investments in disease detection and control activities. Have an effect on the reproduction process. There is a correlation between changes in environmental conditions and the reproductive capacity and growth rate of yellowtail as well. Demand that the aquaculture business modify its agricultural practices in order to accommodate the new environment. There is a significant amount of potential in processed yellowtail products, in addition to the direct ingestion of yellowtail. Frozen and packed goods are available. For the purpose of increasing its value and expanding its market, yellowtail is processed into products that are either frozen, filleted, or canned. Items with additional value. Fish sausages, fish cakes, and fish sauces are some examples of the value-added goods that are now being developed using yellowtail, adhering to the growing trend of consuming items that are both handy and nutritious. Both the yellowtail fishing sector and the aquaculture industry are experiencing growth, seeking to achieve goals that are both sustainable and kind to the environment. Because of the integration of cutting-edge technology and environmentally responsible management practices, Yellowtail is not only a resource for the economy, but it is also a food alternative that is high in nutrients, contributing to meeting the global demand for seafood. Given the fact that aquatic resources are being exploited to an ever-increasing degree, in order to preserve natural harmony and guarantee the availability of resources over the long term, it is necessary to conserve Yellowtail and manage it in a sustainable manner. There are a number of conservation and management policies that are currently being adopted. Limits on the capture. For the purpose of preventing overexploitation and safeguarding the expansion of fish populations, a number of nations have stipulated restrictions on the quantity of yellowtail that can be captured during each season. There are marine protected areas. The designation of certain places as conservation areas has been received. In areas where fishing, especially yellowtail, is either completely prohibited or subject to stringent regulations. Therefore, this contributes to the preservation of marine ecosystems and safeguards the native habitat of yellowtail. The management and supervision of aquaculture operations, the management of the water environment, feed, and other parameters are also controlled in aquaculture in order to prevent contamination and prevent detrimental effects on the marine ecosystem that is around the aquaculture operation. As a result of the growing economic and culinary significance of yellowtail, in order to develop this fish in a sustainable manner, international organizations and countries that are abundant in resources have collaborated. For the purpose of monitoring and managing yellowtail resources, a number of countries in the Pacific region, as well as international organizations, have formed conservation partnerships. Research should be supported, and sustainable fishing methods should be developed. In the exchange of information and technology, seminars and training programs are frequently organized by countries that have advanced aquaculture techniques, such as Japan and Korea, in order to facilitate the exchange of information and technology with other nations, especially developing nations that have the ability to establish aquaculture for yellowtail fish. Farms and fishing firms that adhere to environmental protection protocols are eligible to receive sustainability certification from a number of international organizations. When it comes to the international market, yellowtail items that have been certified as sustainable are typically more sought after and have a greater value. In many Asian countries, the yellowtail is not only a fish that has a great economic worth, but it is also a symbol of the food and culture of those countries. In particular, Japan, the yellowtail fishing and aquaculture business is experiencing robust growth as a result of the implementation of cutting-edge technology, environmentally responsible management practices, and collaborative efforts on a global scale. On the other hand, this new development brings with it a plethora of obstacles on the fronts of environmental protection, resource management, and satisfying the ever-increasing demand from the international market. It is anticipated that the yellowtail fishing and aquaculture business will continue to expand in the future as a result of the efforts of researchers, management organizations, and fishing communities. In addition to providing long-term advantages, this project will also help to preserve marine ecosystems.